Here's the thing.
Hype us up.
This is the last of something. The last episode of the whole liturgical year. This is the last one. Okay. So we've been building up all year to this episode. Actually,
Wow.
This is what it's been all about. We've been waiting for this episode because the church is going to be crowned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we're going to be waiting
And we're gonna,
for Advent.
waiting, yeah.
Adventus.
What's the last season of the Latin Rite? Is it just ordinary time?
It is, yes. That's actually one of the things that I've been
You've been like
Really-
seeing the differences and
Well, no, I've actually been fascinated by this aspect of the Chaldean liturgical calendar, because, and I looked it up. As far as I could tell, our tradition, the East Syriac tradition, so ourselves and the Malabars, it's the only church that has a season for the crowning of the church.
And the Syrian Church of the East.
And the Syrian Church of the East, yeah. So the East Syriac tradition.
does the Maronite? I think the Maronite has that as well.
I didn't see it when I looked up
Oh,
their
really?
book, so
Oh,
I
okay.
may be mistaken.
Oh, I see.
But the reason I find that fascinating is because kind of as a part of theology, ecclesiology develops really late in the West. So even if you're reading St. Thomas Aquinas, for example, and you're going through the Summa, there isn't a part of the Summa that's dedicated to ecclesiology, to the nature of the church. But here in the Chaldean Church, which is very early in its origins, there appears to be a fully developed ecclesiology already. The church is bride. The church is to be embraced by the bridegroom at the end. All of the hymns that we're singing now. I just think it's really surprising that there's a developed ecclesiology in the East so early when there isn't one in the West. There seems to be an understanding of what the church is that's very prevalent in the Chaldean liturgy, whereas it has to be worked out a little bit more thoroughly, I think, in the Western.
I think
Western
one
mindset.
explanation for that, among many, is that we needed to, even before the mass persecution that the Church of the East underwent, we needed to because that is what we had. You know, being given the first area to worship in the ghetto, Koche, that says a lot about how much tighter we needed to hold to ecclesiology.
Yeah, so the crowning of the church is eschatological. It's about what the church is in the ultimate reality before the coming of our Lord, right? It's the New Jerusalem. Heaven is going to be the fulfillment of the church here on earth. And to be very conscious of that is remarkable. So all of the other aspects of the creed, I think Western theology developed ad nauseum. The Trinity, Christology, you name it. But when it comes to one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, what I'm finding in our liturgy is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And this is the church telling us that this is how we're supposed to live. You know, like we're supposed to remember these things throughout the year. And obviously is the case with the Latin Rite, but I found it so spiritually enriching to follow the liturgical year of the church, that the church is giving us these ideas about the life of Jesus and about the life of the apostles and about the life of all believers, that this is our life. So it's making it our life. So we have that opportunity and that great spiritual help to be able to, focus on these things that the church presents us with, whether it's the hymns of the season, whether it's the scriptural readings or the homilies that people hear. These things are meant to enrich us and to get us to live that life that God wants us to live. And that's what what being a Catholic means.
Father Danny, the idea that you just mentioned is really interesting. So you said it's because the people are being persecuted, the church is being persecuted, and the reality of the church becomes much more clear to them in that context. Can you develop that?
So it becomes clear to them because we make up the body of the church, right? And what we had essentially was each other and nothing more. The very act of worship and trusting God in a very, like you mentioned, an eschatological reality, because our church was truly painted with the blood of the martyrs. But making do with the very crumbs that were given to us.
And it could also be like going through persecution and martyrdom and all of that, thinking about what's going to come afterwards.
Yeah, I guess you have to think about the next life.
Mm-hmm.
In that, I think there's a real treasure that the Chaldean Church still offers. Because I think the perennial temptation for us as people, just in human nature, is to turn our focus and our gaze on this world and on the things of this world. And the moment that we forget the life to come, then we stop being pilgrims towards heaven. We just build our house here.
And I think that's a good point that you mentioned, being on this voyage towards eternal heaven with God, because looking at it firsthand, the various times I've been to Iraq, especially the first time I went in 2018, you kind of see it face to face, where you come from the West, being in America your entire life, and being face to face with churches that were destroyed and very like small and simple, modest towns that were the very essence of the Chaldean Church at one point. And I thought to myself, even though this is very simple, very modest, and very tight-knit, it still gave them an opportunity to increase their faith in the church and continue to expand in that way. And you see that happen in, especially, I think it was the 70s or the 80s, but that is when the Chaldean Church started to build over 25 parishes in Baghdad, where our faith was really growing there, and they were all filled during that time.
It's a line from the Psalms, our life on earth is 70 years or 80 for those who are strong. The Scripture's constantly telling us to look beyond this world to the next. And even in a small village where they had just one church, there was a point where heaven met earth.
Yeah.
And that was I guess, more real, what happened in the church, than the daily circumstances of ordinary life. It was what was happening in the church was more real, it seems, than what was occurring in the day-to-day.
We were talking about this on our drive to Arizona about my grandmother being illiterate, but only knowing Chaldean, how to read, write, and speak.
Did she know how to read the Hadara?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember
But she didn't know how to read anything
nothing
else? Wow, that's
no other
amazing.
language.
That's amazing.
And when you confronted her with that, she would act as if it's completely normal. Yeah, this is what we did. How else am I going to pray? That's the way she would. How else am I going to participate in the liturgy and know what's going on? You have to know. It was a standard.
And that was your response to one of the one of the retreats in Arizona. When they asked about how do we reclaim femininity, and you said, look at the innocence of your grandmother.
Yeah.
That's a very good answer there. Yeah.
And I can't take full credit for that, because Bishop Sedhead, God rest his soul, he would constantly yield towards the older generation. They knew what they were talking about, even though they were so simple-minded and they didn't have all of these degrees hanging on the wall. You don't need that to understand that the worship of God is not something to be played around with.
Yeah, there is a wisdom that in the simple that can actually be obscured by the knowledge that is gained in more progressive or advanced civilizations like our own. And when I say it seems like it's what's happening in the church was more real for them than what was happening even in daily life, I think theologians would call that having a sacramental worldview. Where spiritual reality is more real than physical reality is. And I mean, I think that's what you would have seen, say, in the Middle Ages in Europe, with the development of the great cathedrals. Something like Chartres Cathedral, for example, they would have built it. It's magnificent, right? And there are statues and carvings on the roof and on the ceiling of that cathedral that no one can actually see from the ground. But they weren't building it for people to see. They were building it as a representation of heaven here on earth.
And that's all that mattered to them.
That's all that mattered to them. So they had a sacramental worldview. But I think the evidence of that sacramental worldview existing for us is in our liturgy. The fact that we have such a deep understanding of the meaning of the church in the things that we're singing, and the fact that we have a whole season dedicated to it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think based on that, the first thing that comes to my mind is, first of all, how beautiful it is, and that I wish everybody would see life like that. But also, I think the first step toward realizing and living out this spiritual ecclesial reality, the first, and seeing that as even more real than the physical, the first step is that people need to see it as real, even, not just as, okay, this is cute or it's cool, but no, this is real. And this is like the life of Jesus being incorporated into my life, and the family of God being incorporated, or like my family being incorporated into that through the liturgy and through the sacraments is actual, is real, and we need
it's
to
actually
do it.
more real than my flesh and blood.
Yeah.
God is more real than I am. And the things of God are more real than I am.
with the same token, I think the burden rests on the church, because if we're not there to show them the importance of these liturgical seasons, they'll just go by. If you take a look at some of the documents in the Synodicon, that's the minutes of our ancient synods, there is always, and it never fails, there's always an emphasis on what liturgical season they're in and how the Church of the East was being sanctified at that moment, and what different struggles certain bishops had because of persecution to be able to promote that liturgical season to the faithful, always.
What did you say that?
Synodicon.
But you said that the bishops were aware of how the liturgical seasons were affecting their present circumstances?
No, how the present circumstances were affecting their ability.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Their ability to live in the liturgical season. Okay.
So, but for them, even undergoing persecution, that was non-negotiable. You still do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, that the idea that, Christ sanctifies time, and the church being an extension of Christ in the world is sanctifying our lives. That's common to the church as a whole, right? I mean, we order our days from the time of the incarnation, right? And even in the West, Catholics would hardly have ever written the date February 9th, 19-something. They would have always written what day of the liturgical year it was on the top of their papers before. So there was a liturgical life that's common to the whole church, which set individual Catholics, it set their sights on the things that are truly real.
Okay,
rather than the things that are mundane.
Because this is your normal day, but it's not a normal day. It's the first Sunday of Advent,
exactly.
too, So it's like this is,
and it's more fundamentally the first Sunday of Advent than it is December, whatever it might be.
That's one of the reasons why historically a lot of people from the villages would be named after the liturgical season that they're in. Dinha, Sliwa, Emmanuel.
And the same thing happened in the West as well, like
Yelda.
Wow, that's really cool.
Irish people who were born around the time of the Immaculate Conception, their daughters are frequently named Conception. They go by Connie. But their name is Conception.
Interesting.
That's cool. So you mentioned the Synodicon. Can you just briefly explain what that is?
It's a document that has compiled most of the synods that we had from the beginning of Mar Isaac in 410, and so on. And those were meant to keep in the patriarchal archives and meant for us to understand what the laws of the church were, because that was the governing body of the Church of the East, the Synodicon. And it shows a lot of detail, basically which bishops were present. So it was very detailed minutes, even during that time, which bishops were present, what struggles the Church of the East was having, and a lot of things that had to do with the liturgy and the faith. Yeah.
So yeah, this is also part of our church life too, because you're talking about something that was historical for our church when the patriarch would meet with his bishops to govern the church and guide the faithful, and that's still happening obviously nowadays. As we speak right now, all the Chaldean bishops are gathered with our patriarch in Baghdad right now, and they are doing the yearly Synod, which is the meeting of bishops.
One thing sorry to cut you off, one thing you got me to think about right now is in the Synodicon, they don't leave anything out. So if there's disputes between bishops, everything is in there.
Like a slap in the face or something.
If there is,
even that detail.
If there are disputes between a bishop and his priest or priests, everything is in there. And I wonder why, and if that was meant for the faithful to also have access to, or was it just to, keep in the archives? Because I can't imagine that being helpful at all. We were talking about this before we started recording. How it would be helpful for the faithful to see the ugly part of the Synodicon, for example.
The flip side of that, I mean, obviously there's the weakness of human nature that's involved in all of these events, and we can get angry, and we can become mean, and all of these things, and all of our humanity is going to be present in all of the affairs of the church throughout history. At the same time, though, what I find, especially when I read the fathers of the church, what I'm most amazed by is their fervor. These people really believed that this small distinction about the procession of the Holy Spirit was worth a fight.
It's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they took theology that seriously, and they took the tradition that seriously, and they took the proper understanding of the nature of Christ that seriously, there's something to be said for that. Like at the Council of Nicaea, for example, we know Arius, who denied the divinity of the Lord. He was brought before the council in order to explain his position, and the story is that Saint Nicholas, who was a bishop in the East at the time, Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas actually ran down from the rafters and slugged him when he denied the divinity of Christ.
That was debunked, right?
I'm not sure. I've read it in books. It's possible. I could see Saint Nicholas doing that, but the reason why maybe the story came out and was perpetuated was that it's not out of character with the bishops of the time to be so fervent about what they believed that sometimes it came out in the wrong way.
I mean, you're talking about the most real and the most important aspects of our lives.
And that's what I find fascinating.
They are the teachers, and they're the ones.
Even in the Synodicon. So maybe one of the reasons why they kept everything in is because the Synodicon had the force of law at the time. So in order to have a law, you have to show why, or even if you don't demonstrate why you have that law, you could read between the lines, because there's no law if there was no sin.
That they saw it as being real and therefore important to articulate and defend.
Yeah.
Theology matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it has everything to do with who we're worshiping, and we have to have a very clear idea about who God is, right?
And you care about it more
of it.
when you see them caring about it that much.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I mean, it's not just what we believe, but in a lot of ways, they also tell us how to worship too. How we're going to be guided through our liturgy, what we're going to say, what we're going to what we're going to pray.
That's one of the reasons why a patriarchal church like ours, what typically has the universal force of law are things that have to do with liturgical matters.
Mm-hmm.
So look how important that is for the church.
Yeah.
That you could have particular law, you could have laws that only apply to the historical territory of that patriarchal church, but the fine line is drawn when it comes to liturgical laws.
Liturgical law. So just to explain that this is the law of how we worship.
Yeah.
And for example, if the Pope were to come out with a law about liturgy, about the Latin Mass or things like that, these will not be applied to us because our Mass is different, and because the way that we worship and express our faith is different. And so it's the Synod of Bishops with the Patriarch that does that for us.
Yeah.
There's a very popular phrase from the early church, especially about the liturgy and doctrine. It's lex orandi, lex credendi. So the law of prayer
It's the law of belief.
is the law of belief, or the law of faith. So the liturgy kind of teaches us what we believe and how we believe. So it's very important that our liturgical text and our rites and our calendars are informing us of what it is that we believe about doctrinal matters. That's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about the crowning of the church. There's a very beautiful aspect to our theology that is being presented to us through the liturgy here, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys follow what is going on with the Synod? Currently? Our Synod, yeah.
This is my first experience.
yeah? Oh,
That's
really?
why I
This is your
defer to
first
all
time?
of you. I'm learning as I go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad they had it. They haven't had it in, I think, a year or something like that, right?
Isn't it every year that they have it? I mean, but I think it was around August of 2025. I think 2024. Sorry.
Oh, was it?
So I think it has been
Yeah.
more than a year. August, September. I think
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They're all getting together now.
What
I don't
would-
know anything about this.
No. How about this? As a
I know what I know, and I know what I don't.
Father Simon, please. What's
you want me to
up?
ask my question?
Say whatever you want. Yeah. Give the
What
people
would-
something to.
What would you
listen to,
What would
look
you?
forward to.
What do you, or what would you, as a Chaldean priest, or and maybe speaking from what you know from the Chaldean faithful, what do you want the Chaldean bishops and the patriarch to speak about and to do at the Synod? What would you want, Father Chris?
Yeah, you've been very silent.
Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot on this one because which is why
I had more things to say about the earlier stuff we were talking about, the season of the church. I was just thinking.
Do you want to just get everything out now?
Yeah.
That you've been bottling.
get it go.
Yeah, so for the rest
Open
of
the
the show, this is just my segment for the rest of the show. One thing I'll say is, I mean, after all has been said and done about matters of governing the church, thank God we still have a liturgical calendar. Thank God we still have thank God we still have a liturgical calendar. And thank God we still have people that care about talking about it and that care about communicating it. I think that we don't preach about the season we're in enough on a general level. I try to put it in here and there, like what we're talking about. Like
I know.
I try to say, like, why it matters that we're in the season of Epiphany, like here and there. I'll try my best. But I think it's lost on most of us, to be honest. And I think that's not a good thing.
Sorry, I just want to say on that note, like,
Yeah.
you'll have the priest that will say, saying like we're on
That's
the third
not,
Sunday.
that's definitely not what I mean.
I know,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is that
That's a
Why
word.
definitely?
That's a word count kind of
I
priest.
know.
Yeah,
What I'm
he's
saying
trying,
is
he's
that
trying to he's trying to make
what
the
the
word
people
count.
get is they hear, okay, it's the second Sunday of Elijah,
Yeah.
and they'll hear that in the beginning of a homily, and I feel like they just will have no idea what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? But
Yeah.
so you're right.
Yeah, so it's good that we still have liturgical calendar and that it has its place and it orients us so much. But if I'm there, or I think what a good idea to talk about would be is, of course, there's matters relating to what's going on over there back home in terms of like preserving our Christian faith, preserving our Christian people. I hope they're talking about that. I know there's also matters of, like clergy business. Like I know we don't have a bishop for our eparchy of Alqosh right now, so like I'm sure they're going to talk about that. The other stuff that I would like to see happen, I don't think will happen. But
what if you were?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a more disciplined, a more faithful, a more prayerful approach to liturgy.
Yeah,
that's all. I think that sentence there has a lot, in the layers of it that says what I mean. But I would like to see that. Yeah.
I'll read from the statement. Yeah.
Oh, there's a statement. Oh,
yeah. It was written in English from the opening session by Patriarch Sacco, and
I was going to say that I hope that there's more English out there. So this is good.
So the second point, I'll just read that because there's a few points that are mentioned. But he says the synod is an opportunity for self-examination, renewal, and strengthening of our affiliation with Christ and His Church, so that we may grow together. And I think this is very imperative to do, and it's something that's built off of more of a theology from Pope Benedict, who would always preach about aggiornamento, the renewal. And I found that very edifying, at least for me in my priesthood, when I renew myself to my relationship with Christ. So on a much larger scale, with a synod of bishops, being reminded of that, I think could go a very long way, because at the end of the day, they are the ones to govern and dictate the Chaldean Church. And if we don't have this, exactly, princes of the church, if they don't have it will be much harder to do that when you don't remind yourself of this renewal to Christ.
What I wanted to say earlier about the season of the sanctification of the church, among the really beautiful things there is to look at, to observe, to meditate on, I think it reminds us of what the end goal is, kind of like how the bishops and the patriarchs should be reminding themselves, hopefully, spiritually, what their end goal is in this synod. The prayers we have during this season remind us what is going on. What is this all about? What was this past year trying to get us to think about? What direction was it orienting us in? And I love that in its simplicity, in its being developed so early on, it's just, this is a wedding. Yeah. And now is the time for the party to happen. Now is the time for the banquet to happen. This whole year, everything we do, all the rituals, all the sacraments, it's all anticipatory. It's all building towards something. It's all looking forward towards something greater. Yes, heaven does meet earth at Mass. Yes, we receive the body and blood of Jesus, but it's all looking towards a fuller presence of God, a fuller indwelling of God among us. We're reminded of that in the prayers that we have throughout the season, that there's this bridegroom, and look what he's done. Look what he's done into demonstrating his love for us. And look how beautiful he's tried to make us throughout this liturgical year, through all the gifts and the treasures that the church has for us. It's just, this is amazing. That's just a beautiful language. And
the whole Bible begins with a marriage. The marriage of Adam and Eve, and it ends with the marriage of Christ and the church, and the book of Revelation. Yeah. So the whole of the scriptures is bookended by this spousal notion that God wants to espouse His people.
So what I like is that this season reminds us of that, that this is what's been happening all along. This is the goal all along. So it's cool to have that as a reminder for not just concluding this liturgical year, but heading into the next one.
Yeah, that the end of our lives and of the church is the beginning of that deep relationship and that intimacy that we should have with Jesus, and that our lives, kind of seen as in light of the liturgical year, begins with Jesus and it ends with full unity with Jesus, and
begins with the coming of the bridegroom.
Yeah,
and then the marriage.
And we do it every year. We start with Advent, we end with the crowning of the church. We do it every year until we actually participate in it, literally. And we do participate in it in a sacramental way.
Really, but sacramentally.
Really,
but sacramentally.
Yeah.
So it's through the liturgy that Jesus lives His life in us. again
Yeah.
and again and again.
It's amazing. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to shift now to something else. We're going to go to our Pope Leo segment. And it has to do with the Pope having a gathering of representatives of the world of cinema. So,
wow.
yeah, something very cool for a Pope to do. And I'm going to read you guys what he said, and we can talk about it. And then I want you guys to think of what your favorite movie is. The article said, speaking at the Vatican on Saturday, His Holiness, who is the first American-born Pope, gathered representatives of the world of cinema to give a brief address that championed the theatrical movie-going experience, saying that the cinema is a popular art in the noblest sense, and that cinemas and theaters themselves are the beating hearts of our communities. And I'll just read this last quote. He says, "It is wonderful to see that when the magic light of cinema illuminates the darkness, it simultaneously ignites the eyes of the soul. Indeed, cinema combines what appears to be mere entertainment with our narrative of the human person's spiritual adventure."
Lord of the Rings does that so well.
It does. Yeah, he creates a myth, Tolkien,
Yeah.
in the fullest sense of the word.
Yeah, he actually,
A whole mythical world.
the Pope met with two actors from Lord of the Rings. That's
Oh, is
pretty
that
cool.
that video?
That's the video, yeah. Aragorn and
Aragorn.
Oh, Aragorn.
Oh, you're reading that for book club now, right?
Yeah.
You're going through the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Aragorn?
Really the book, man.
Argon is a noble gas in the periodic table of elements.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
What is it? What is it?
we should probably be careful about what we say.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially about noble gases and the Synod. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you guys' favorite movies?
Favorite
You
movies?
said Goodfellas?
Why is that your favorite movie?
It's fun.
I don't have to answer that.
You don't have
Why are
to-
you
you-
asking?
you
You
don't
are
have
not
to
even
do-
the host.
I don't care. You don't have to do anything. But why is that your favorite movie?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah,
I want to know too.
because I think there's better ones.
And I'm sure our viewers would love to know.
What?
actually.
See, because of that, I'm not going to answer.
Because you
What's
think
yours?
No, I
What's
wanna-
yours?
I wanna know
No,
why
see,
that
I knew
earns-
there was like an underlying,
I want to know why that
purpose for
earns
that
number
question.
one. Why does that earn number one spot for you?
but with you already having in the back of your head that you think there are better ones. You don't know my
Yes.
life. You don't know why I like that. You don't know why that resonated
Okay,
with
so
me.
that's
What
I'm
if I
giving you-
saw
I'm giving you a
different
platform.
Christological implications in that video that in that
in the
movie
same
that
way,
you didn't?
look, in the same way that the Pope gave a platform to people from cinema to explain themselves and to appreciate the art, I'm giving you now a platform. I'm just following the Pope. That's all I'm doing.
No,
So no, you're not gonna explain why it's your favorite.
no.
Okay.
I'll tell it to a deserving audience.
There's
What
people
about
that
the people that
are
are
watching
watching? They
this.
don't deserve?
What did you just call
No,
them?
this audience.
What did you
When
just
you
call
leave,
them?
I'll tell Father Fadi and Father
Oh,
Simon.
well, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
I've never
This
seen
audience,
Goodfellas,
not the view.
so, but I'll watch it with you.
Okay, nice.
Anyways,
I'll discover why.
sorry for those of you that are. I'm sorry. I don't know which camera to look at, but those of you that are watching this, I'm sorry. I tried to get as much information
Yeah.
as I could, but
That's good.
I didn't succeed.
So you're gonna have to
Yeah.
keep watching the shows to find out why Father Danny likes Goodfellas.
Number one.
What I do know is that Father Danny usually has very good reasons for doing what he does. So
See?
I will. I
would shake his
I will
hand, but I
assume
can't
that there is
reach.
something. That there is a
Thank
reason.
you, Ravi. Thank you, Ravi.
So I will say Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, it's an excellent.
Why?
It's a great film.
Honestly, I just really enjoy it. I mean,
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
It's like what he
that's one of
says.
the
That's
best
a
reasons
movie.
for art.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's one
just-
of the best
Okay.
reasons
Just
for
enjoy
art.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you
just
for
enjoy it.
actually
Yeah,
answering
yeah.
the question.
for sure.
Is it your turn?
No,
No,
you're
it's
the
yours.
host. You tell us, please.
My favorite movie is probably gonna be Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Yeah. So for many reasons, actually, if you guys would like to know
Are
about
you-
them. Yeah.
I would love to know.
Okay. So the acting in that movie is top tier. I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck outdo themselves not just in acting, but the screenplay is by them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the plot is amazing. Like someone's life changes in that movie. Like that's this guy named Will Hunting is changed by being under the mentorship of Robin Williams. Robin Williams does a great job in that movie.
God rest his soul.
And then
Versus-
while you see, yeah, exactly. And then while you see Matt Damon's character's life changing, like you start thinking differently about what the most important things in life are. Like I think that's like a good take-home message from that movie. And it's like it's outlasted generations. That movie still is one of the best movies you can watch, no matter
It's true.
how old you are. Yeah, it's beautiful what happens when
That description you gave right now could be applied to any major movie, by the way. Just saying.
But I mean,
Even to Goodfellas, you think?
Absolutely.
Standing
There's
the
a
test of
development
time
of
is
character
important, I
in
think,
every
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
standing the test of time, I think, is
I think
important.
it is a big thing. Yeah.
Goodfellas is also still a classic, you know.
Do you like Goodfellas?
I do.
Is it like top 5 for you, or
I do, but I watch it for a lower kind of entertainment.
Father Fadi.
We'll watch it together. I have maybe 2 films, pretty equal in my mind, but for different reasons. The first would be A Man for All Seasons, which won all the Academy Awards.
is that about a saint?
It's about Thomas More.
Thomas More. Okay.
Oh, what's it called?
A Man for All Seasons. The acting is brilliant. The writing is brilliant. Robert Bolt wrote the screenplay for that. But this is a man. Thomas More was the Chancellor of England. He's the patron saint of lawyers, so he's Father Danny's patron saint.
That's why I'm looking him up right now.
He was the Chancellor of England until Henry VIII decided to break with the Catholic Church because he insisted on divorcing his wife, Catherine, in order to marry Anne Boleyn. And his marriage was valid, and the Pope obviously could not invalidate a valid marriage. So he decided to break with the church on those grounds and insisted that all the bishops and all politicians in the realm sign an oath of fidelity to him as the head of the church. And it's the story of Thomas More's struggle because he obviously could not do that.
Yeah.
But it's very faithful to the historical reality and brilliantly acted. I highly recommend it.
Wow.
Man for All Seasons.
Man for All Seasons.
The other film that's my favorite actually is very good. Good compliment to this show. It's feeding fathers because it's called Babette's Feast,
Babette's Feast.
and it's about the meaning of food for human beings. Right? We don't eat the way that animals eat. We don't feed. When we eat, we dine, and it's a social event, and it's supposed to support friendship. And this movie is all about Babette, who is a French chef, who ends up cooking a meal, and everything in these people's life changes because they shared a meal together. It's very Eucharistic in that regard.
That's very cool.
Man for All Seasons and Babette's Feast.
Is that
my
an
favorite
older movie
movies.
too?
They're both
Babette's
older
Feast?
movies,
Okay.
but
I saw that the first one you mentioned was filmed in 1966.
that's right.
You know the Pope's 4 favorite movies, which he mentioned. Did you hear
Yeah,
about
let's
that?
see. Who? What would that be? Probably. What's that Christmas movie?
A Christmas movie.
No,
There's one called
older,
that.
much older.
Life is Beautiful.
Yeah.
That is on
Life,
that
is
one.
Life is Beautiful is recent, but that's not the Christmas movie.
It's a
Wonderful Life. Wonderful
That-
Life.
That
yeah.
is also on the list.
Yeah, that has to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else would be on his list?
2 more. So Life is Beautiful. It's a Wonderful Life. The Sound of Music.
Oh,
that's
Sound
a
of
very
Music, of
popular
course.
one. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Julie
Yeah.
Andrews. You've never seen The Sound of Music?
No, I've
Oh, I grew up on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's the story of the Von Trapp family.
And then Ordinary People is the other one.
And the last
Ordinary
one?
People.
Ordinary People. Ordinary People. I don't know. Yeah.
One thing I like about this is that we were talking about this the other day. In the very first chapter of Pope Benedict's book, The Spirit of the Liturgy, he calls liturgy like a play that we are participating in like children. And one of the reasons he calls it that is because oftentimes a play has a lesson to it, has a moral reality to take away from it. And it prepares you for the bigger realities of life outside that play. So the liturgy that we participate in, namely the Mass, it's like that. We're doing things, there's clothes you wear, there's rituals you participate in, and they prepare you for something greater that you should be anticipating, which is, beholding the presence of God. So it makes you kind of look at movies in a more appreciative way. They're oftentimes pointing to like bigger realities. They're kind of like sacramental in that sense.
Exactly. So our word for play in English is connected to the play of children, the way that children play, because they dress up and they pretend to be adults, and that's part of their growing up. And the liturgy is meant to be a play in that regard too. It's the way that the children of God play in their Father's home.
I remember
nice.
before the seminary, before I joined, I would watch movies just to watch them. Now, me and Father Andy, we have this inside joke saying he rejected the coffee. And the reason why that's an inside joke was because after I started to take my first couple philosophy classes, we're watching a movie, and I forgot which movie it was, but Father Andy paused it and he said, "Did you see what just happened?" I said, "Yeah, he someone asked him for coffee, he rejected the coffee." And then he started to explain to me the philosophical implications that came with that, because he didn't only reject that cup of coffee, it actually has nothing to do with it. He rejected everything that guy had to offer him, things like that. So it did become much more fruitful, after knowing that, because now all the movies that I watch, I'm waiting, to see what's going on there and what the writer's trying to do.
There's meaning to good movies like that. Absolutely, that's a wonderful thing that Pope Leo is doing.
Yeah,
that's if we can begin to repair the relationship with Hollywood, I think we would be taking a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
well,
so good.
Why don't we start?
Run out of time.
No, we're gonna start eating, and then you can tell us about Goodfellas. If you're down.
I'm so hungry.
Yeah, we're gonna eat some good pizza right now, man.
Pizza,
Yeah, so
fantastic.
that'll make sense actually to talk about Goodfellas.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yalla. Gino and Gianni's Pizzeria. Thank you guys
This
so
looks
much.
Thank you,
Unbelievable.
Gino and Gianni. Yeah, this is lovely.
And this
Is
is
this the same pizza? Both of them?
this is an extension of Mamma
that
Mia's pizza place.
Yeah, this is
Ma cos'è?
Mamma Mia's Italian market, and
Cos'è?
Oh,
wow, look at this,
Spinaccia.
bro.
Salsiccia.
Salsiccia, mozzarella. That's
Looks
So
very
Mamma
pretty.
Mia's Deli, if you guys don't know, is in La Mesa. If you guys like
Oh,
I
nice.
want one of those. Yeah.
like an Italian vibe, a
Look at
legitimate
this.
Italian market that sells
Thank you.
like good sandwiches, good Italian products and stuff like that, definitely go there. It's for that kind of vibe.
great family too.
Great family. Their sandwiches are very good. They make like things you'd actually find in Italy.
It's fantastic. Where is it?
It's in La Mesa,
In La Mesa.
on Spring Street.
Okay.
If you take the Spring Street exit on the 94, you'll see it like right on your right
Oh,
side.
to the right.
It's good to
Yeah.
know.
My favorite sandwich from the deli is the fig jam and prosciutto.
Oh, yeah. We had that when we were when they brought food for us one time.
And now it's even better.
Phenomenal.
Because they have pizza.
Pepperoni's crispy. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's so good.
This one? Wow.
So, in Goodfellas, the acting
yeah.
is obviously amazing. You have Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta. It doesn't get better than that, you know? And they're telling a story. They are telling a story of like Henry Hill's life. This guy that was Irish got mixed up in the Italian mafia world and stuff like that. But I guess it's like a cautionary tale. I guess it's telling you what to avoid. It's telling you like how far someone can fall when they're just worshiping success or status or money.
Yeah. That's important.
Is that one of the reasons why you like it?
Okay. No.
I'm trying to help. Just like the Pope is trying to help the world by appreciating movies more.
This is so good, bro. Well, there's different cheeses. One of them is like very creamy. There's more than two cheeses
I
here.
think it's a bufala mozzarella.
The fact that we have pizza like this so close to us, dangerous.
So it sounds like you're a big fan of Goodfellas too.
I am. But Good Will Hunting is just like another level for me. So you like Goodfellas more than Casino?
Yeah. Didn't Robert De Niro meet the Pope?
Yeah, they did.
He was one of the people. But I like the Godfather series more than any of those.
One or two. Three is obviously not on the table.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. I think 3 is just like misunderstood.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah,
Really?
that's how I would say. I think it's misunderstood.
You're the first person I've heard
3
say
has
that.
a lot of Catholicism in it, by the way. They film with like cardinals and all that kind of stuff. But between 1 or 2, which one do I like more? 2.
Yeah, me too.
It's hard to remove the church from that context.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving next week. It'll be a week after this episode is released. Is there a food that you guys will like not eat on the Thanksgiving table? Like never?
Stuffing
Stuffing, really?
and turkey.
Turkey?
You don't like the turkey?
Really?
I'll eat the turkey if it's done well.
if it's done right, yeah.
If it's
Like,
juicy and
Not
stuff.
too dry.
Have you had it done right? Have you eaten good turkey?
Maybe once.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
No.
It's a dry bird, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Italians think it's inedible.
Really?
Can't
Turkey?
blame them.
You could. When I lived in Rome during Thanksgiving, you couldn't find turkey anywhere. You had to get it shipped in.
Oh, wow. I guess you're right. Even with like the cold cuts and stuff, there's just no turkey there.
Tocayo, they don't like
What's
it.
it called? What's the meat called from
Gabagool?
gabagool?
Capicola?
Yeah.
Gabagool.
Well, when you say that in Italy, they look at you like you're a moron.
Like a chalisa?
That's probably specifically Sicilian, which is a completely different dialect.
I got it from TV shows and stuff here in America. But
No, so I think they might say something like that in Sicily.
really?
Someone correct
They'll
me
say
if I'm wrong.
Capicola,
But,
like Gabagool?
well, yeah. So when I went to Sicily, I had to ask them to speak Italian because I couldn't understand anything.
Really?
That they were
Oh,
saying.
wow. That different?
It was that different, their dialect. Like in the 19th century, when the Italian unification happened, they imposed the Florentine dialect on all of the rest of Italy. But in many other regions, they still speak their own dialect, and it's very different.
That's why Dante's original writing of the Inferno, it's in that dialect, but
It's in the dialect of Florence,
Yeah.
but in the older
Ancient,
dialect
yeah,
of
yeah,
Florence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Father Chris, would you please try this one?
That was going to be my next
Yeah,
move.
please, because this is like one of my favorite pizzas.
That's
ever,
superb,
honestly. This, I don't even know what they call. Guys, what do they call this one? Do you know? Just tell them the one you gave to Feeding Fathers. That's
Yeah,
not
I'm
the
not
one.
sure whether to diversify. I think I want another piece.
I
of
know,
that.
man. Me
Yeah.
too, honestly.
Fadi.
That's what I was gonna do. I got you.
Thank
This
you.
is not my style, though, for pizza. Like, I don't prefer this style.
You
give
prefer
me
like
another one of those, please.
New York?
You like
This is
thinner or
like-
thicker pizzas typically.
Thinner.
Thinner.
New York style is, I think, the best.
What is this? Like Neapolitan? Or
Like, you know how we're going to see glorified bodies at some point? I think New York pizza is the glorified pizza.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an
New
argument.
York style.
Detroit style would be the really thick, I think.
Chicago.
That's the Chicago.
Chicago.
Even
But
Detroit
Detroit
style
is similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like made in like a pan thing.
Yeah, that's what you get around Naples. So the further south
Yeah.
you go, typically the thicker the pizza
Andrew,
gets. Yeah.
you might want to bleep
And a
this
style
out.
cut.
You might want to bleep this out, but if anyone's looking for a very good New York style cheese pie, make sure you pay a visit to. Yeah.
Should I have one more of these or should I try this one? Because that's what I'm thinking about right now.
Outstanding. The
Unbelievable. man.
crispiness of the dough
Wow.
is perfect. Yeah.
I want to cry right now.
If we had utensils, you'd be throwing them.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, something,
Violent.
Thank you to Mamma Mia and what's it called? Gino and
Gianni.
Gianni. Thank you guys very much. We're off next week because of Thanksgiving. So we hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving.
Thank is given.
Thank is given. Thank is the God.
Going back into quiet mode.
Okay, yeah. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.